Hello, and welcome to this CodeSandbox tutorial. CodeSandbox provides cloud development environments that are built and designed to always keep you in flow. We do this by hosting our environments on micro VMs, so you can spin up a project and start working on it, whether it's a small prototype or something much larger. Perhaps you plan to change the world as we know it. Perhaps you want to create something that will remind you to take the bins out. In either case, CodeSandbox wants to help you achieve your goals. We've streamlined environments set up for you, and after the initial setup, any environment can be resumed almost instantly. Once you've created your account or logged in, head to your dashboard. From here, you can select a workspace from those that you belong to, based on what you're working on that day. You can either think of workspaces as different teams or different project staging areas. It's up to you. We offer 3 options on your dashboard to get you started. First of these are sandboxes. Sandboxes are isolated instances that run entirely in your browser. They're a powerful tool for front-end JavaScript experimenting. If you've moved beyond experiments and need to build a prototype, we recommend a DevBox. DevBoxes run using our powerful micro VM infrastructure and give you almost full control over your environment. They support other programming languages such as Python and Go, while also supporting all of our newly introduced features such as AI assistance and VS Code support. Once you've decided which of these you want to use, click on the relevant modal, select a template, and the environment will be created. Today though, we're focusing on importing repositories to demonstrate how CodeSandbox is a faster, easier way to code and collaborate with others on existing projects. Just make sure you've given CodeSandbox the required permission to import the repository first. Once you've granted the required permissions, just paste in your URL and click Import to bring your project into CodeSandbox. Now that the project has been imported, it's time to set up your environment. If you already have a dev container configuration saved, we will detect this and prompt you to continue the setup with it. If you don't, there's no need to worry. We also detect files in your project and suggest what we think the ideal environment would be. But if you want to customize your environment further, or don't want to use what our detection suggests, you can also configure your own environment from scratch. This option provides a number of templates that you can use as a starting point and prompts you to add any dev container features that you want in your environment, such as Docker and Docker. But today, we'll be going for a more streamlined setup, so we're going to use the current configuration and click Next. The next step is to define your setup tasks. These tasks install and run anything required for your dev container to your specifications. You can customize these further here even if you imported a container configuration with your project. With the setup tasks defined, it's now time to set your environment variables. As with the container configuration, if you already have a .env.example file, this will be detected and will suggest the existing variables. If you don't, or want to further customize your environment and add more, you can do this by clicking Add Variable, or switch to plain text if you want to copy and paste. The final setup step is to install the CodeSandbox GitHub app. This isn't a mandatory requirement, but we highly recommend it. The CodeSandbox GitHub app adds a bot to your GitHub repository, so any new branch or PR will have commented links. These links open the branch or PR in CodeSandbox, running in the environment you set up, effectively providing a development preview and staging environment for your changes all in one. We've found this is especially useful for quality assurance teams, or people who are more generally tasked with approving changes. We already have this configured, so we're going to go ahead to review our setup and get our environment running. Now we have the opportunity to review our setup. You have 3 options at this point. You can go back, just in case you forgot something. You can approve the configuration and restart the VM, or you can skip the environment setup entirely. We're happy with our setup, so we're going to go ahead and restart this VM. As you can now see, this setup takes a little longer than 1.5 seconds. The time that this takes will vary depending on the complexity of the project, but the good news is that it's a one-time thing. After this, you'll be able to resume your project using an existing snapshot, so you can go back to developing almost instantly. This applies not just to your existing repository, but also to any branches people make from it. If you're happy with your environment setup, we also recommend committing the dev container changes to the repository's main branch. That way, you can make it available to everybody in your team. And just like that, our project is up and running. We hope you've enjoyed this quick tutorial for getting started on CodeSandbox.